Piers Morgan and Candace Owens got into a heated argument on Piers Morgan's show as Owens continues to suggest that employees at Turning Point USA were in some way involved in a cover-up or had foreknowledge of Charlie Kirk's assassination.
Earlier this week, Owens met with Erica Kirk after Erica recently told her to stop promoting her theories about Charlie's death. Both women described the meetings as productive. Owens says she gave Erica Kirk the name of 2 employees at TPUSA whom she believes may have known ahead of time that Charlie was going to be killed.
But Piers Morgan slammed Owens for that, saying she doesn't have a shred of evidence.
I told them that if I were in your shoes, these would be 2 employees that I would look further into. That's
and what evidence do you have that they had any prior knowledge of the murder?
Because I don't have concrete evidence is the reason why I'm not naming them. So I've been responsible.
You've got no evidence,
not saying,
but you're telling the widow that these 2 people may have been involved in the murder. But you see the problem.
Well, what the evidence for it is people that there is not concrete evidence. It's like you're trying to get me to say something that I never said and then asking me to defend it.
No, I'm asking what evidence
let's
you've
actually
got.
go to. You're asking me privately. Did I communicate to them that I think you should look further? That's called an investigation, Piers. Okay.
Owens was blasted for her comments by many conservatives online. Republican strategist Matt Whitlock called her a deeply sick person making millions of dollars while infecting millions of people. Conservative influencer Colin Rugg says it was never about concrete evidence. It was always about vibes and my skin is crawling and you just know.
Meanwhile, Megyn Kelly is firing back at those who have criticised her for not publicly speaking out against Candace Owens. Kelly hasn't endorsed Owens' claims, but she hasn't really outright condemned them either, and that has led to outrage from some of her listeners. Kelly said on her Tuesday show that she has been behind the scenes trying to help mend the relationship between Owens and Erica Kirk. She also says that people whom she used to consider her friends are trying to publicly shame her because of her refusal to separate herself from Owens. Here were some of Kelly's fiery comments.
I don't have any pearls of wisdom other than go yourselves. Go yourselves. You have no clue what's going on. You don't know what I do behind the scenes. And your world is so myopically online. You fail to understand there are real humans involved here. And actually being able to touch grass and have relationships with them, which is something I'm doing, could prove to actually benefit all involved. Maybe it won't. Maybe it won't at all, but it's at least got a shot. I'm not sure your Twitter shame game has gotten anything of value done.
Let me say something briefly in Megyn Kelly's defence, which I never do. We were listening to the
looks great there.
Radio.
Is that what you were going to say?
Well, we could say that for sure. What I was going to say was I feel like we listened to the radio-friendly edit with all the swearing bleeped out. I've heard the unexpurgated version of that, and that's some impressive swearing. I always appreciate some quality profanity. We can't.
You would as an Irishman.
Yes, exactly. And of course, with Megyn Kelly, I assume is of my heritage in that way too. Yes. So good for her, even though I disagree with her in all sorts of other ways. Anyway, what's your serious view on your favourite topic, Ms. Owens?
I don't lay awake at night in some rage or fury that she has failed to denounce Candace Owens. Right, I agree. Megyn Kelly doesn't have an expectation to do it. Megyn Kelly has not fostered and is not responsible for Candace Owens in some way. I think everyone should denounce her, or not even denounce her, just like point out that the things she's saying are wrong, or can be dismissed without evidence because she has presented none. Sensational claims that are made without evidence can just be dismissed. If you say aliens have visited us and they're among us now, and I say, what's your proof? And you say, well, I don't have any proof. I'm like, okay, then we're moving on from this conversation. Mm-hmm. I don't have to prove a negative. You have to prove the crazy thing you say. And sometimes you can. Sometimes crazy things are correct or have a kernel of truth to them, which is why I don't, write off what we call conspiracy theories. We should listen to them. We should see people, sources of knowledge and expertise and authority are wrong. Establishments are wrong. That's all fine. Candace Owens does not have any proof for the things she's saying. And the things she's saying are consequential for the people she's smearing. And she cannot say to Piers Morgan, who, by the way, I think is fantastic. I've become such a Piers Morgan fan in the last few years. I think he's a great interviewer, doing a lot of good, fostering important dialogue and conversations. I'm all for him. Good on you, man. She didn't quietly tell Erica Kirk, look out for these two. I don't know, there's something wrong. And then not say anything about it publicly. She's saying it publicly. She's just not saying who she's saying it about. So she's still trying to cash in on the things she's saying. So she's not like quietly behind the scenes trying to make some good faith effort to get to some bottom of some mystery. A mystery we've already solved, by the way. And I can't stand her. I really can't. It's just wrong. And, Erica Kirk, I'm not going to tell Erica Kirk what she should or should not do or who she should not meet with. That's up to her. I think she's handling this insane person with all the dignity and grace that she can possibly muster. And Candace was a friend to Charlie way back when. They were close. They were on great terms for a long time. And she might feel because of that, Charlie's friendship with Candace, that there's some residual, that the right course of action is to engage with her positively and try to ask her not to do this and not have some big blow up with her for whatever reason. That's fine. I'm not questioning any aspect of what Erica's doing. But Candace's arguments are easily taken apart because she has no evidence, none.
Well, to that point, I mean, even in the clip we just played of the Piers Morgan interview, that certainly bears out your praise of him. But all he was doing in that instance was saying, so what evidence do you have? And she was saying, well, I don't really have any. I don't have hard evidence.
And if you say, because then they were quibbling over, she's saying, I didn't say that Charlie's friends had killed him, but if you're saying they knew that he was going to be murdered, you are effectively saying that they were in on a plan. If they had foreknowledge and did not warn him, then they were part of a plan. Perpetrated by who? So they were, okay, so members of Turning Point USA, you're saying were what? They were in contact with Tyler Robinson? Because now she is not denying that he was the killer, as far as I can tell, because the evidence is overwhelming that he was. She's just saying he was one of, there are other people. Okay, there's Turning Point USA who were involved, so they were aware of this. They were in contact with this person, this random person whose grievance against Charlie appears to be didn't like his views on transgender issues and was in a relationship with a transgender person. So there were what? They're in these forums with the transgender community where these things had been discussed? Because just the fact that there's someone online prior to the attack who said Charlie Kirk's going to get it on whatever day, that's not evidence of anything because there's millions of people saying things about Charlie Kirk at all times. So that you can point to one forum where someone says, oh my God, did they know? Well, there's thousands of messages like that because people were, unfortunately, a lot of people were wishing violence on him. So that proves nothing. So it's just, you're alleging something that, if you think about it, is sensational, is huge. That, oh my God, people at Turning Point knew their boss was about to get murdered? Why do you think that? And then crickets. Yeah,
look, I think that all of that, to the best of my knowledge, what you just said is accurate. The bigger, I guess, sort of cultural question about Candace Owens' prominence is why there are so many people who are willing to embrace theories for which she provides next to no evidence and really enthusiastically embrace those theories and push back against anyone who says, well, if you look at this, this, and this, it's plainly not true. We do seem to have got into a situation where the dislike of establishment or orthodox explanations or expertise is so pronounced that people like Candace can have extremely...
Life is not always a television plot. It's not always... I loved the show 24. Do you remember that show?
Yes.
That with the premise of it is that it's real time. Every episode's an hour. I loved the whole show. And yeah, in the later seasons, it's always, the terrorist group is, the president is in on it. And it's, oh my God, it's that person. And because it's a TV drama. Life is not always like that. Sometimes just a crazy person does something bad and it's not connected to some broader conspiracy. Sometimes it could be connected to some broader conspiracy, but just because you want it to be like that doesn't mean it is. But of course, Candace has a tremendous financial incentive to pretend that it is because she has millions of, unfortunately, very gullible people who she's taking for a ride on this.
Hanging on her every word.
Hanging on her every word. Next up, the White House is making another addition, this time to the Presidential Walk of Fame. How Trump seems to be trolling his predecessors yet again. That's coming up.